3.5 years ago, Mike Keenan, despised in Vancouver, led the Rangers over the Canucks in the '94 Stanley Cup Final. Today, as strange as it may seem, Keenan is now the man in charge of turning around the Canucks' sagging fortunes. As Barry McDonald reports from Anaheim, Iron Mike is Vancouver's new head coach, replacing Tom Renney, who was fired early this morning with the team preparing for tomorrow night's game against the Ducks.
Well, last week, of course, it was Pat Quinn who was dismissed for the Canucks' brutal start. And when that happened, everyone knew it was just a matter of time before the coach he hired, Tom Renney, would get the axe too. Well, the time has come. Mike Keenan is in, Tom Renney is out. It all happened earlier today here in Southern California. It is the latest, arguably most stunning chapter in franchise history. And it began this afternoon at the Arrowhead Pond in Anaheim, California, when Mike Keenan assumed the Canucks' head coaching reins.
I feel so fortunate to do what I love to do, to participate in the game, particularly at the coaching level. And this organization has given me that opportunity again. We're looking forward to the challenges, the hardships, the difficulties, the joys, and the opportunities that I think are in front of us a lot more closely than most people would think at this point.
He inherits a team that last night ended the worst slump in club history. He has a history of whipping underachieving teams into shape.
That's the fun part of it. That's certainly a challenge, and the expectations go up immediately, but that's part of building the culture for winning. If you don't have the expectations, if you can't conceive it and believe it, you'll never achieve it.
It was the worst-kept secret that Tom Renney was coaching on borrowed time. The players simply did not respect him. Keenan will command respect, at least in the short term. They don't have to like him. They do have to respect him.
Some people will accept the change and make the adaptation, and then there were others who couldn't make the change. So, all in all, I think we've got a great start with people in that locker room, in particular Mark, who knows the ingredients of winning in the NHL, and that's hard to find.
Keenan is a man used to having power. He won't have total reign, initially at least, with the Canucks, as he'll share player personnel decisions with Senior VP Steve Tambellini.
We have formed this team at the management level to try to maximize our own abilities and our best abilities in terms of meeting an objective that I'm sure all of us in the National Hockey League aspire to achieve.
The Rangers are Stanley Cup champions! His job right now is to tap this club's potential, get the Canucks from being the league's laughingstock to the league penthouse.
For anyone that's checked the record at one particular year in Philadelphia, we were in last place in the National League after 20 games, and we went from last to first. So Chicago was the same thing. We were in 21st place and went from last to first. So it took a lot of work and a lot of soul searching.
Mike Keenan conducted his first practice with the Canucks this afternoon here at the Arrowhead Pond. The Mike Keenan era really starts for real tomorrow night with a game. The Canucks and the Anaheim Mighty Ducks will be here for it. We'll have more on Sports Page tomorrow night.
And before the players hit the ice this afternoon for Iron Mike's first practice, Barry caught up with a few of them to get their thoughts on their new head coach. And I guess this could be considered a bit of a surprise, but to a man, the Canuck players thought the move was a smart one.
If you look at Mike's record, he's definitely done some very positive things where he's been.
Is this something this team needs right now? I mean, was it the coach? Was it? I mean, you had a losing streak, of course. What does he bring now to this club?
Well, I think that I think his record states that he brings a little more structure to his teams, and I think that this team is in need of.
He'll demand a lot from his players. He'll demand a lot of hard work, and I mean that's pretty much what I tell everyone to expect. He's hard on guys at times, but he gets good results.
The unfortunate thing about Mike so far that I've seen is that nobody wants to publicize the good things that anybody has to say about Mike. It's all the negative things and some of the mistakes that he's made. But if you want to go on the record and you want to look at the record that he's had, obviously it's his record in the league is unbelievable, and he's a proven winner, and that's what the team needs.
Well, Mark's played for him before and won a cup with him, so he knows the ins and outs of Mike, and you know, he's the captain, so I'm sure they'll be working together to try and you know, give Mike the feel of the team and turn these things around.
Now, as for Tom Renney, he and assistant coach Terry Bangan, who was also let go today, flew back to Vancouver in the wake of their dismissals. And much to his credit, Renney refused to badmouth the Vancouver organization as he agreed to a late afternoon press conference at GM Place. You can say anything negative you want about Tom Renney, but in his year and a half with the Canucks, the man was always honest. He let people and his players know what he was thinking and how he was feeling. That approach didn't change one bit today, the day he lost his job.
Oh, I'm disappointed, obviously. I'd like to have had the opportunity to try to get us out of the doldrums. Naturally, any coach would, and so I'm disappointed probably more than anything else. Somewhat frustrated, but I can understand what's going on here, and I think that's the name of the game.
Were you treated fairly by this hockey club?
I think so, yeah. I think I was. I think I was treated fairly by the whole organization. You know, they gave me an opportunity last year to recover from what was a tough rookie year.
Tom Renney.
It was supposed to be perfect. The kid from Cranbrook, who had paid his dues coaching junior and international hockey, making the big time with the team he grew up following.
The best decision I ever made in my life on behalf of myself and my family was to get into coaching because I truly love it. And when you can bring that passion to your work and be decent at it, I guess, you know, really, I guess maybe good things can follow.
But good things did not follow for Tom. In his first season with the Canucks, they failed to make the playoffs.
This can't happen again. We can't have this happen. There's nothing I hate more than getting booed in my own rink.
At the start of his second season, the Canucks set a team record with 10 straight losses. In the middle of that skid, Tom's boss and biggest supporter was fired. So it was only a matter of time before he suffered the same fate.
To a point, at least, I compromised my coaching style at this level, and I likely should not have done that. I should have stuck with what got me here in the first place, and in an effort to try to acquaint myself better with this athlete, you know, at this level. Sometimes you give up a few things, you compromise a few things in areas that might have been at one point in time your strengths, and that certainly won't happen again.
Can you elaborate on that, Tom? Compromising your no?
I think that's we'll leave it at that.
Tom, you know, obviously was working hard, was really dedicated to make things happen. He's a good man, and it's too bad it didn't work out, but I think it was just a matter of time, and hopefully it'll work out for him in the future.
What's in the future, Tom?
Hockey. That's my life. It's what I do. It's what I do best, believe it or not. And I will continue to pursue opportunities at this level and in this position. And if it manifests itself soon, great. If not, I've got a family to take care of.
And just in case you were wondering, Tom Renney's contract status runs until the end of next season with the Canucks. We should also mention that both Stan Smeal and Glenn Hanlon did not get the boot. Both will stay on as Mike Keenan's assistants. For even more in this story now, make sure you stay tuned for Christina and Global News at 11:30. After tomorrow night's...
Faced the Mighty Ducks in Anaheim, the Canucks have a single win in their last 11 starts. Some would say the only way to go is up. Farhan Lalji reports from Anaheim.
It's only been 2 practices, but already things feel a little different around the Vancouver Canucks. Gone is Tom Renney and his power of positive thinking. And in his place is the new Iron Mike. Kinder and gentler, at least for now.
My ability to be patient is something that I have to work at very hard. To know that there's certain situations beyond your control, that you're a much better leader if you can learn to manage them as opposed to change them. There's some things that definitely need to be changed, and that takes time.
Well, I hope he didn't change the things that made him successful. I think that's, there was certainly, you know, I thought Mike in the years I spent with him in '94 in the World Cup, you know, was very demanding, but I think that is an important ingredient in a coach. Fair but demanding.
Despite Keenan's arrival, this is still the same group of underachieving players which has won just 4 of its first 19 games. Keenan's biggest challenge will be to get some of the team's high-priced talents to embrace a team concept.
You know, he got a Stanley Cup and he went so many times to the final, so as a head coach you have to respect him a lot, and I think he has respect for my guys.
He's an electric player. He can move people right out of their seats and watching him. He can be a very threatening player. From my experience coaching against Vancouver, you're always aware of him and where he's at.
Tonight's game will serve as an audition for many members of the Canucks. Although Keenan doesn't have the title of GM quite yet, make no mistake, he is the man making personnel decisions for this team, which means more changes could be in order.
I think Mike's reputation is that he certainly won't accept losing, and he won't accept anything but 100%. And I think that if you're fearful of not giving that, then maybe perhaps you should be fearful.
From Broadway to Orca Bay, Mike Keenan hardly fits the clean-cut corporate image that his bosses have grown used to. But he also doesn't fit the losing image they've grown used to. It's a new age for hockey in Vancouver, and it starts tonight against the Ducks. Farhan Lalji, TSN, Anaheim.
Thank you, Farhan. We shall see. This is the third meeting of the season between the Canucks and Ducks.